Ripple XRP holders, no, this video is not clickbait. What is happening right now in the crypto market is a massive trap being set by the institutions. And in this video, what I'm going to be sharing with you is the top 10 signs to sell all or at least a large chunk of your crypto portfolio before this bull run is over. We're going to talk about the crypto total market cap and when the top is most likely to be in for this bull run, when I am going to be selling 80% of my crypto or more. And I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how to prevent yourself from getting absolutely wrecked, like 90+% of the market. Last bull run, I sold Bitcoin and the majority of altcoins when Bitcoin's around $57,000. I bought back in around $16,000 and I went all into the crypto market at the bear market bottom and diversified across a lot of the top projects that are up drastically right now. So if you want to see how I plan on timing this market, consider watching this video. And as always, this is not financial advice. These videos are purely for education, informational purposes only. I'm just going to show you with you guys data. I'm going to give you the top 10 things that I'm looking for to exit the market. Now, that doesn't mean that you should sell, doesn't mean that you should buy anything. I just believe in full transparency and telling you with what I'm doing with my portfolio so you don't get wrecked, so you don't get destroyed, and so you don't lose absolutely everything. So by the end of this video, you will know when it's time to sell. So comment 777 if you guys are feeling bullish. Comment 777 if you're feeling blessed. And if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So over the past week, the crypto market has been doing absolutely incredible. And a lot of people are wondering, should they sell now? Should they wait until inauguration day? Could it be a sell the news event? I'm going to discuss a lot of different stuff in this video with you guys. And we're going to dive into some key data points, some key metrics, and also some predictions as well too, based on these metrics and based on this data points, so you can have the best approach moving forward in the future, not only for this bull run, but for many bull runs to come. Because if multiple of these top 10 points that I'm gonna share with you in this video align, then that is like having the cheat codes to any video game that you play so you can make the most amount of money possible. I became a millionaire before 30 in crypto by understanding these things. So I'm just gonna give it to you guys in this video. And if you want even more information like this, then by the end of this video, consider joining Altcoin Pro University through the link in the description below and get exclusive access to our crypto inner circle, 100+ expert curated classes with all the information that you need that covers even more in detail of what I'm talking about today, live weekly calls with our research team, daily market updates, top real-time altcoin picks for some of these projects that are under the radar before they get listed on massive exchanges and absolutely explode. And then you can connect with our global community to chat with other like-minded investors. Right now, we got about 139 members. We just launched like 2 days ago to the general public. And so our goal is to help over 1,000 people this month. So we have some exclusive bonuses for the first 1,000. I'm not going to talk too much about that after this video. I encourage you guys to go and watch this 26-minute video through the link below. Check it out. I know you're going to love it, but let's dive in with number one indicator to look at for when it's time to sell. It's when Coinbase is in the top 10 apps in the App Store, or potentially even number one in the App Store. So we can see Coinbase if we go to the App Store and type it in. You also can go to coinbase.com. Now, currently, where Coinbase is, it's in the top 70 in the App Store as Bitcoin is aiming and closing in on $90,000 and eventually $100,000. And the reason why this is super important is because this is a direct indicator of retail in the market. Because when I say institutions are setting a trap, what is the trap? Well, I've had conversations with people that are directly connected to the institutions that are launching these ETF deals to do OTC deals behind the scenes while Bitcoin was at record low prices. So that way it didn't move the price on the open market because they wanted to gobble up as much Bitcoin as possible without affecting the price so they can get the best pricing, get the best deals, and then have retail come in later to be able to sell on you. For those of you that don't watch this video all the way to the end, you will most likely get dumped on by BlackRock and the other big institutions at the end of this bull run after they usher in their marketing plan across all mainstream media organizations. And so in the past, Coinbase's App Store popularity has been directly correlated and connected with the performance of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin increased, both new and returning investors who want to profit from the rally frequently downloaded the app. Now, here's the key to understand here for those of you that are just coming back to the market for the first time, for the OG bull runners here that have been around during that grueling, boring consolidation phase over the past 6 months that we just got done with since March to, today, basically, as Bitcoin breaks out in these massive green candles over the past few days with Donald Trump getting elected. If you go on Twitter and you look up the Coinbase wallet account, their goal is to bring 1 billion users on chain. So they keep using this term on chain. So they had an on chain summer all summer to onboard as many users as possible. And even if they hit just a fraction of their goal of 1 billion during this bull run cycle, it's very evident that Coinbase has been in the trenches building the entire bear market, the entire bull run. They're the largest exchange in the United States. And so they just came out with the base chain. Now, when we go to DeFiLlama.com, we can get an overview of all of these top blockchains in terms of their total value locked. And the increase in total value locked is a telltale sign that retail is coming back in the market. So I'm going to share with you the other 9 key points to pair up to understand when the best time to sell is. But a good sign is seeing total value locked increasing on chain. And I said this, I said, watch the base chain months ago. I said, this is most likely going to go upwards of 3 billion, 5 billion, I think even $10 billion or more this bull run cycle because it is the first bull run for the base chain. So Coinbase has made it a goal to make it easier to get on chain. What that means in simple terms is for average everyday people, the boomers that don't really know how to use smartphones or they don't understand anything about crypto, how can they make it as simple as possible to connect a bank account and click the buy button? Their goal is to do that. And the easier that they can make it for average everyday retail people, the quicker that Coinbase will rise in the App Store and get closer to that #1 spot. So that's why Coinbase's ranking in the App Store is one of the most important indicators to look at because it's super simple. When Bitcoin's price goes up, more people want to buy Bitcoin and or increase their holdings, which naturally increases the number of downloads for well-known cryptocurrency trading apps like Coinbase. You got crypto.com and you have a few others. The second indicator to look for is Google Trends search volume reaching, 50 to 100. Now, we don't know how high search volume is going to go. That's why we have to pair it up with these other 8 indicators to look at for when the best time to sell relative to the top is. Again, you don't have to sell the exact top as long as you're catching profits on the way up. It's like if you go to a basketball game and you leave in the third quarter, you're not getting stuck in the parking lot and being used as exit liquidity from all these massive institutions that are dumping on you, and you just can't sell anything because there's no liquidity left in the projects that you're holding at the end of this bull run, trying to trade these micro cap or mid cap projects that skyrocket really quick, but they can come down just as quickly as they rise. So when we look at Google Trends, this is the next major retail indicator that shows us how popular crypto is on the macro. So if we zoom out here, we're looking at the United States. We can zoom out and go worldwide. This is what we want to look at because the US is just one sector. And as you guys can see here, Bitcoin, I talked about this. I said we were at levels in October that we were at like right out of the bear market of 2022. We were even below that. Like if you look at 2022, Bitcoin was at like 21 and 17 in terms of search volume out of 100. It ranks from 0 to 100. 0 means nobody cares. Like all the way back here, no one knew what Bitcoin was in 2009. It was 0. And then it started to tick up in 2013, 8 out of 100, 12 out of 100. And then that 2017 bull run by December, when Bitcoin topped out, look at this. When Bitcoin's price was nearly $20,000 that month, Bitcoin was 100 out of 100. This was a telltale sign when paired up with price action and the other indicators I'm going to share with you that it was time to get out. Now, 2021, not as many people cared about Bitcoin. So this cycle, we might not actually see the search volume worldwide past 2021. This might be a macro symmetrical triangle. Maybe we top out at 50. So the projections for what they're looking for is Bitcoin's going to go from 18 roughly to 41 by November. So when November's data is in right here on what I'm looking at right here for the keyword Bitcoin, this will give us an idea of what's about to happen next. The next thing that we want to do is look at Bitcoin's stock to flow model from the days until the next halving and measure out certain things like the top to top based on the past cycles to give us an understanding of where the top could relatively come in for the peak. So what you can use is an app like tradingview.com. If you guys want to get started through our affiliate link below, yes, we do earn small commissions from that, but that helps support value-based videos like this. So I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can start learning how to do charting, and you can look at these different projects, compare them together, and apply what you learn inside of Altcoin Pro University to then take advantage of that information to be able to maximize your results while minimizing your downside. So let's measure from the top of each cycle going all the way back in November 2013 and pair that up to the crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and the top 10. So these are others. This is virtually every mid cap and micro cap project in the world. And so we're going to look at not only when is the best time to sell Bitcoin, but when is the best time to sell your altcoins in every crypto, because these charts move together, but sometimes certain projects can top out early. But on the macro scale, if you have a diversified portfolio, it will represent more of the crypto total market cap rather than like putting up like Dogecoin's chart or Sui's chart or XRP's chart. It's going to look a lot different than these. So this is just the whole industry conglomerated together. And at the top of the screen on November 2013, when Bitcoin was at $1,300, it topped out. We saw this bear market, then we started another bull run. So if we measure from top to top, it was roughly 1,490 something days, like 91 days. We don't need to be exact to the day because we are on the monthly chart. We're measuring month per month. So you can be patient knowing on the most likely case scenario within like a 3-month period when the top could be in. So if we measure from the top of December of 2017 to the top of 2021, right here in what looks like it was October of 2021, it was 1,400 days. So very simply, if we measure from the top of October 2021 and we measure out 1,400 days to 1,490 days, where would that put us? It would put us anywhere between the 1st of August of 2025 until the 1st of November of 2025. Now on the bottom of the screen, I've traced up vertical lines for when Bitcoin topped out compared to when the others topped out. And as you can see, when Bitcoin topped out, 1 month later, right here in January of 2018, others topped out. Now this chart doesn't go back to the 2013 cycle, but as you can see, it followed along in the bear market and then started breaking out after Bitcoin started breaking out. So others tend to lag behind because Bitcoin moves first. That's why we talk so much about Bitcoin in our XRP videos, because in order to understand what's going to happen with XRP, which XRP broke above 70 cents, doing what we expected it to do after Bitcoin started to breach the all-time high, it took XRP a little while, but eventually XRP is going to do well. So with the rest of the altcoin market that you're holding, you guys can see when Bitcoin topped out right here in October 2021, 1 month later, the others topped out. So let's say, for example, there's no guarantees here, obviously, because we don't know exactly. It could be like between August, it could be November, it could be a little bit, maybe it's a little earlier, maybe it's a little later. That's why we're pairing up all these other indicators too. So when they all line up, it's like having the full cheat code to basically beat the matrix, beat the game, and not get absolutely wrecked. So you take your emotion and eliminate it from the equation. This is not an emotional based decision here. This is purely on logic. So if the altcoin market topped out 1 month after Bitcoin topped out, by November 2021, and then by January 2018, well, theoretically, it might top out 1 month after Bitcoin tops out, just based on logic here. So the next key that we need to measure is how long after Bitcoin's halving did Bitcoin top out. And so if we were to measure back from all the way back here, let's just go back to the first halving, November 28th of 2012. And if we were to measure from that halving period, and also we have up, for those of you wondering what this color code is, it's the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator that tells us the days until Bitcoin's next halving. So I'll show you that in a little bit and how that's another indicator that we're going to look at. But if we measure from November 28th all the way to the top, it was 335 days after Bitcoin's first halving that it topped out. Let's measure the second halving and let's see how far it was. It was 487 days. So that's a pretty big gap between that, 487 days. But let's measure the third halving and let's see when Bitcoin topped out. It wasn't 200, it was 487 days. So if 487 days was the last bull run, the bull run before then was 487 days exactly to the T, pretty much on the monthly. Well, then now these cycles are starting to follow more in a rhythm of not just Bitcoin's 4-year market cycle theory, but based on global liquidity that moves in, I think it's 65-month cycles. So if we measure from April 20th of 2024, let's go 487 days. 457 would be the 1st of August, 488 would be the 1st of September, and 549 would be the 1st of November. So that brings us roughly right in between these vertical lines that you can see right here that lines up with the other measurement from the previous top. Now, the next key indicator to look for when it's time to sell most of your crypto, if not all of your crypto, is the monthly RSI. And we can see right here, based on the past, when we went from orange to yellow in terms of Bitcoin's halving, orange to yellow each time, and we just flipped from orange to yellow, where the relative strength index was at that period. And back in January of 2017, it was at roughly 79 or 80. And as you can see, during that period where Bitcoin went from, or the whole market, the crypto market is what we're looking at right here. So you can also put this on Bitcoin's chart. You can put it on the others chart. You could put it on, total 2, total 3's chart, whatever chart you put this on. We're looking for a key thing to take place that I'm going to share with you in a little bit on the RSI.
Hey bull runners, this is super time sensitive, especially if you're looking to stack more crypto before the bull run is over. Did you know that Visa and MasterCard lost a $5.5 billion class action lawsuit for imposing unfair fees on merchants and business owners? So if you own a business, or if you know any business owners that process payments with Visa or MasterCard between 2004 and 2019, that's 15 years, you could actually be owed a refund of 1 to 1.5% of your total revenue from that period. That's a lot of money. For example, this business that generated 1.6 million in credit card revenue during those years is getting back $28,000. This business that generated over 7 million is getting back $93,000. And this business that generated over $20 million during those years is getting back over $320,000. That's money they didn't even know was on the table. And all they did was fill out a form through the link below this video. It literally takes less than a minute to see if you qualify, but you don't want to wait too long because the deadline to file is February 4th, 2025. So the sooner that you fill out the form below, the sooner that you can reclaim what's rightfully yours. Plus, if you don't have a business, you can actually earn 3% by referring businesses that do qualify by creating your affiliate account through the link below. So this is a no-brainer way to get money back in your pocket to use for your business, or if you want to use it for crypto or other assets to invest in, you can do that. So click the link below. Let's get you paid.
But the point that I'm making is when the crypto market started breaking out and going from orange to yellow, we saw this parabolic rally. From yellow to green, we saw a little bit of a pullback here. So what happened here is when we peaked out at yellow before flashing green on Bitcoin's stock to flow rainbow indicator, the relative strength index peaked out here at 98, right? 100 is the highest that you can go. So when it peaks out, that doesn't necessarily mean the rally is done. What that means is momentum from bullish to bearish is slowing down, and we're not going to go much higher than that in terms of momentum. So eventually that momentum will end. It's kind of like when a team is on a winning streak and they just keep winning, scoring. Their momentum is strong, but eventually we hit that threshold where we're close to the end of the momentum, and you can know relative, you don't know exactly when, but that's why we pair all this stuff up, but you can get an idea when you're close to the momentum shift to where when they start, losing, or the other team starts scoring and catching up in the game. So this is a game of the bulls and the bears. So how we do this is through what's called a bearish divergence. Now, what a bearish divergence is on the key indicator that you're looking at on like the monthly time frame or a weekly time frame, a macro time frame. The monthly would be pretty macro. We're looking for a lower high on the key indicator, and on the price chart we would be looking for a higher high. So for example, when the price pulled back from the market cap pulled back from 170 billion all the way to $90 billion, we saw the RSI drop from 98 down here to 84, and then we saw another final rally for the parabolic blow off top for the end of that bull run by January of 2018 for the altcoin market. Now, what happened to the relative strength index? Well, you can see here in the lower left-hand side of the screen, the RSI bounced back up to like 96, putting in a lower high, whereas the entire market was putting in a higher high. Now, if this were to happen, and we would be roughly like 1,400 plus days from the previous high, roughly 470 something days from Bitcoin's halving, and roughly 365 days from when Bitcoin flashed from orange to yellow, which we can measure right here, it would put us to the 1st of September 2025. So roughly around that time frame, if we are seeing the relative strength index, for example, during this yellow phase right now, which has been, I'm going to circle on the chart so you guys understand this, the most parabolic phase of Bitcoin cycle where the most amount of money is made for Bitcoin and altcoins. That's why literally your last chance, like the last ship right now to accumulate your favorite altcoins is sailing. Every single altcoin is leaving the harbor right now. And some of them are just tying off, throwing the buoy into the boat, getting ready to set sail and cast away and sound the foghorn like a cruise ship out here in Miami when they start leaving the port going out to sea. That's what's about to happen right here. So we are witnessing just the start of it right now. So this is going to be the most parabolic growth phase of the bull run cycle. But the trap is a correction is coming. Now, when this correction will take place, it's anyone's guess. I'm leaning more towards maybe inauguration day to March, somewhere between there. Maybe there's a sell the news type of event, because people are buying up, the rumors of what Donald Trump's going to do in office. He says all these amazing things about like building the Fort Knox of Bitcoin, the government buying 500 plus Bitcoin a day for the next 20 years. And everyone is excited out of their minds right now. When we look at where the relative strength index is, it's at 62. So during that first rally up, we saw the RSI come upwards of 74. It didn't breach above 80 to 100. So I want to be watching, what I'm going to be watching is for the RSI to breach 80 to 100 at the end of this phase where Bitcoin gets ready to transition from yellow to green. Now, if you look on the chart, what happened the last bull run cycle when Bitcoin turned from yellow to green, we saw another sell-off take place. And that sell-off that took place was the last opportunity to be able to buy into any projects, maybe adjust your portfolio to some projects that have yet to rally up, because for the final blow off top for wave 5 in the Elliott waves is the last chance. As you can see, last bull run, we saw a higher high where the market cap peaked out at like $3 trillion and a lower high on the relative strength index. So what is this? A bearish divergence. The RSI peaked out at 92. On that sell-off from yellow to green, it came down to 65, and then it saw a lower high right there. On the lower high is quite possibly the best time to exit. Now, on the high right here on the relative strength index, it's not the worst time, because as you can see, the price and the market cap was all the way up here. So that's like exiting in the third quarter at the top of yellow. That's the first best time to sell. That would be like selling right here on the 1st of August of 2017. So you're still catching a lot of profits. The RSI is all the way up here. You can't go wrong with doing that. The next best time to sell is on the lower high when price is breaking out and the RSI is not breaking above the previous high. And so if we see the RSI upwards of like 89, 90 at the top of yellow, then that would tell me that the next major correction consolidation period is coming, going from yellow to green, similar to kind of what we went through from purple to orange. Once we peaked out at purple and we turned to orange, we had the 6-month consolidation period. So I don't know how long the next consolidation period will be. I'm expecting like 3 months, sometime around March of 2025. So no guarantees, but what this could look like is over the next 1 to 3 months going into inauguration day, we see the relative strength index absolutely explode somewhere all the way up here, and then we see a major sell-off take place, the RSI come down. A lot of people think that the bull run is over, but then we see a final blow-off top for the market and the RSI attempt to come back up, but inevitably not taking out the previous high, forming a lower high. And at this stage in the market in Q4 of 2025, the mass amount of retail investors that are signing up for the Coinbase app as Coinbase's top 10 in the world, they're going to be saying, hey, we're just cooling off. The markets are going to keep going up forever because institutional adoption is here. We're in a super cycle. I've been seeing so many people say, this is going to be a super cycle. That has to be the dumbest thing that I have ever heard, because that's exactly what you've heard every single cycle prior. It's like, no, we're not going to have a bear market this time because this time it's different. No, it's not, guys. I'm preventing you from getting wrecked here. Now, if it is, and you sell right here and we just keep going up, well, you locked in some profits. You're not getting wrecked. And if you have enough skin in the game, you can make enough to retire. But if you don't sell and you follow all the people on Twitter and social media saying that this time it's going to be different, then we see something like this take place, the RSI break down, and then the price, come crashing down in 2026. Very similar to what happened right here when we went from light green to light blue, same thing that happened all the way back here. In my opinion, it's just going to be the exact same thing that happens going into 2026. So another key indicator that we need to look at is the emotions of the masses through the fear and greed index. So the crypto fear and greed index tracks on a daily basis and over time. So right now, the markets are in extreme greed. Last month, everyone was neutral. They didn't know if the markets were going to fall apart or go up. People just didn't know what to feel. Last week was greed. Now we are 80 out of 100. Now, if we scroll down here and we look at it over time and we click on max and we see what happened when we were at the peak of the last bull run, well, when the breakout started to take place, back in November of 2020, the crypto fear and greed index went from 73 to November, it was at 86. Then it went to 93 at the end of November. Then December is at 95. Then by the end of December, it was at 94, then 93. It stayed above 90 for that whole entire run up because the markets just kept going up. So because we breached above 80 doesn't mean that we're just going to come back down tomorrow. This is actually a great sign that the bull run is finally here, and we're doing what we did all the way back here at the end of 2020, even all the way back here at the end of 2017, which isn't on the sheet, but it would show something similar of the crypto fear and greed index being above 70. So the fact that we're 84 right now, I think we're going to climb up to 90 and we're going to stay above 90 for the rest of this phase of the cycle before we go from yellow to green. So the next major indicator to look at is when the Bitcoin stock to flow model is between yellow to light green. And so what this means when I say these color codes is the days until the next halving. It tracks this from 1400 all the way till 0. So when Bitcoin goes through these 4-year halving cycles, the rewards for miners is cut in half, so it creates more demand, which theoretically spikes price. Now, it doesn't happen right away because it takes several months after this, because we have to go through like fears of geopolitical tensions, who's going to become president, uncertainty in the markets, what the Federal Reserve is going to do with interest rates. And that's happened every single cycle. And we see when we go from purple to red, we consolidate, purple to red, consolidate, purple to red, consolidate. Then from red to orange, we start a little breakout. So what we're kind of going through with this little breakout right here. Now we transition from yellow on the actual trading view chart with this breakout that's taking place right here. But when we look on the macro, one thing I look at is what happened in the past and is there confluence there that lined up for the exact color and how many days we were until the next halving. That's why we measure from top to top. We measure from the halving to the top as well too. And we can see when we were at yellow right here, we were upwards of $63,000. When we were at light green, we were at $67,000. When we were at yellow right here, we were at $3,400. So you could be technically selling early if you're selling at yellow because it might be like that 2017 rally. So the best time to sell is obviously light green before we go to like light blue, teal, and then eventually dark blue for the bear market bottom. But you guys can see that the bear market bottom is like right from light blue to dark blue, light blue to dark blue, light blue to dark blue, light blue to dark blue. And then the bull market top is from yellow to light green, yellow to light green, yellow to light green. So I don't think this cycle is going to be any different. Now, for people that are wondering, well, how high will Bitcoin go? Nobody knows. That doesn't matter. I'm not looking at a price target. I'm not waiting for Bitcoin to go to the stock to flow line and hit $400,000 because the people that do that are the same exact people that were waiting for Bitcoin to hit $100,000 last cycle before they sold. They were looking at even dollar amounts, which is the dumbest thing that you can do. That's newbieville. You never look at a dollar amount and say, I'm going to sell once it gets to this dollar amount. You look at the things that I'm telling you in this video right now and you pair them up together to get confluence on multiple different indicators lining up to show you all the same thing. If all of them are lining up, that's like ultimate red flag. Get out the market, exit. Everything is most likely to go down. And even if it doesn't, and for some strange reason this time is different, you can at least say you locked in some gains. And this time was different for you because you didn't get wrecked like you did last bull run cycle. If you lost money last bull run cycle or the cycle before then, this time can be different for you if you keep paying attention. Now, the next key thing to look for is when these chains are breaking records in terms of total users, total value locked, and there's different ways that you can do this. You can use different tools and resources like DAPP Radar. You can use DeFiLlama.com and it'll show you things like total value locked. You can look at different chains. You can look at the top protocols on the chain. You can see where they're at. You can see the 1 month changes, the fees. And one of the biggest things that I look at is the total value locked to these chains. So for example, Ethereum is one of the most important chains to look at. But what's even more important to look at is all. So compared to the all-time high last bull run, we were at $175 billion in total value locked. So for people thinking that it's time to sell now, we're at $100 billion in total value locked. We just started the breakout. And so until we at least get back up close to the high or beyond the high, there is still time to accumulate for this bull run to be able to make money. Now, you don't want to be coming into the game in the fourth quarter when everyone's pissed drunk, blackout, beers spilled all over the seats, and then you're trying to find a seat that you can sit on, and you're going to the club for the last call, trying to get like sloppy thirds on something to pull out of the night at 2 a.m. You don't do that. You want to show up right when the game's starting, and you want to exit before the game's over. So we're going into the third quarter of the game, which is the most exciting part of the game. And the fourth quarter is really the end of the game, and the buzzer beater's over, and the people that are trying to sell right at the exact top or even right here in overtime, right? The complacency stage bounce I would consider overtime when the total value locked was 163 billion, because once overtime hits and one team wins, one team loses, well, the team that lost was FTX, Voyager, Celsius, Terra Luna collapsing, and everyone losing money in all of those different projects. So by the end of this bull run, you don't want to be selling out and putting into these stable coins that are going to be promising you like 20%, 50% APY, because that's unsustainable. You want to either be off ramping into, US dollars, your country's primary currency, a stable coin like Ripple stablecoin when that's out, USDC. I don't know about USDT because we'll see if it collapses for a black swan event, 2025. We'll see what happens there. We just don't know yet. So to anticipate this, you can use other tools like Glassnode, Nansen.ai, Coinmetrics.io. And if you want to see a list and all the other resources to be able to understand total users on chain and all of that good stuff, then make sure you plug in with Altcoin Pro University through the link below, because our research team does live weekly calls. So by the time the bull run is coming to an end, everyone that is in here is going to know exactly what's going on. We are setting the gold standard for crypto education to help empower you guys, educate you guys, and give you the confidence that you need to navigate the crypto market with ease. And hey, look, just right now, Teresa On just joined. Shout out to Teresa. So it's either $97 a month or $970 a year. No questions asked. 30-day money back guarantee. If you're not happy for whatever reason, join right now. And on the 29th day, if you ask for a refund, no big deal. We'll give it to you. Worst case scenario, it's not the right thing for you. You go about your way and you try and figure everything out yourself. That's completely fine. Best case scenario is what we teach you actually works. One of the altcoin picks potentially does, and there's no guarantees here, right? But some of the past altcoin picks have done 50x, 100x, 200x, some of them 500x in the past that our research team has provided our students. Let's say you find just one of those. Would that be worth the $970 per year? Would that be worth the $97 per month? I don't want you to take my word for it. Watch the 26-minute video below, and you're going to hear some testimonials from some of our past clients. Now, another major indicator that we're going to look for is Bitcoin's dominance all the way down anywhere between 38% to, roughly 45% within these levels, all the way down right here. And so when I pair up Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, and you look at the color code right here, and then I also put up Bitcoin's halving, we can measure from when Bitcoin halved to when Bitcoin's dominance bottomed out during the bear market. It took roughly 822 days. So let's go ahead and measure from the cycle before then, and let's see when the bottom was in. It was roughly 38 days. If we measured right here, like 900 plus days. So how far in are we from Bitcoin's halving? Well, we're only 184 days in. So we still got some time. I mean, if we measure like 500 days, that's October of 2025. So when Bitcoin's dominance is like all the way down here, that just means that altcoins are ripping to the upside. And so during the first major breakdown, when we go from this yellow phase to light green for Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin's dominance drop from about 74% all the way down to 39%. This is when altcoins ripped to the upside and went absolutely parabolic. It was the same thing for the bull run prior to this. During this yellow phase, Bitcoin's dominance went from like 90+% when all these altcoins started to come out to 49%. And then we saw the major correction take place, like I just showed you guys, from orange to green, where Bitcoin sold off. And that, not Bitcoin sold off, the altcoins sold off more than Bitcoins, but Bitcoin still sold off. It's just that Bitcoin sold off less than altcoins, meaning that Bitcoin's dominance retained more of the market cap of the whole industry, because altcoins bleed out. When Bitcoin sells, altcoins sell off more, okay? And so we see this bounce, just like we saw this bounce take place right here from yellow to green. So the smartest play during the yellow phase is to be in altcoins. When Bitcoin's dominance is breaking down and is dropping below 60%, 50%, 40%, being in altcoins is the best move. And right before Bitcoin sees the bounce up going from yellow to green, that's when we pivot back to either Bitcoin or stablecoins temporarily. You know, if you still want to have allocation in the market and still some risk in the market, and you just want to hold until the very end, which is the light green phase when Bitcoin finally bottoms out all the way down here before going to light blue, then you can do that, and you can wait for the final breakdown in Bitcoin's dominance, depending on where that goes to sell all of your altcoin positions, roughly if Bitcoin makes it to 38% down here, before we start the next bear market bottom leading into the next bull run going into 2030. So don't mind my sloppy kindergarten drawings here. You don't have to be Picasso, a rocket science, a mathematician to understand this. The best time to sell is when Bitcoin's dominance is all the way down or near 40%, potentially even lower. If we can get to like 38% back to these levels, if I were to draw this zone right here that we'll be watching for, it would be within this zone right here. So that's like 35%. I mean, it made all the way down to 35% last bull run. I don't think Bitcoin will go that low, but let's say we go between 40 and 45%. I'd be happy with that. Now, the last indicator to look for, the 10th one, is what is mainstream media and social media saying? Are all of your friends hitting you up asking you about crypto? Is your taxi cab driver, your barber, the person who runs the salon that you talk with? Is everyone talking about crypto? Is mainstream media pumping your head up, saying that, Bitcoin's the new standard, Bitcoin's going to pass gold, Bitcoin's going to $1 million this cycle? And we can see, all these institutions and everyone posting all over social media about crypto. Is your feed flooded with crypto? If all of these past key indicators that I shared with you guys are at like max euphoria, max greed, and everyone is drunk off of gains and everything going through the roof at a parabolic blow off top, then it's time to run for the hills so you don't get left caught holding the bag. And you could be like Frank Gallagher at the end of the bull run, surviving the bear market apocalypse.
I'm still here, motherfucker! Frank Gallagher!
All right, so I hope you got value out of this video. If you did, let's pop your subscription cherry. If you've never subscribed to a YouTube channel before, make this your first one in the crypto space, and go to Altcoin Pro University through the link in the description below. Become one of the first 1,000 founding members, because we are setting the gold standard for crypto education. And you get started for $97 a month, $970 a year. Test it out for a full 30 days. Like I said, no questions asked, money back guarantee. I know you are going to absolutely love it. At the least, watch this video. I put a lot of time and energy into this video. See what it's all about. If it's not for you, that's fine. I will see you on the next video as we back up our truck all the way to the bank, grab the bags, pack them and stack them, leave no bags left behind, because we believe the spending power of the dollar is going to keep going down in value. That's a fact based on inflation. Blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrencies are going up in value. That's the truth. And together, we're all going camping on the beaches of the moon, running to the top. I'll see you guys in the next video. I will see you on bullrunners.com through the link below. You know what to do. I don't have to remind you. Stay bullish.